Hey YouTube, it's been a while. It's probably been a month or so by now since I've done a knife review. I've been busy with work and lab and school stuff like that, but today I want to show you a new knife I got. This is the Jarosz Model 75. Jesse is a relatively new knife maker. I think he's been in the game for 2 or 3 years, and this is his premier folder. He has a 100. Which is just a larger version of the 75. And recently at the 4th annual gathering of the usual suspects in Vegas, he won Best New Knife Maker for this particular model. He entered the 75 in and won amongst some stiff competition actually, which is pretty cool. I think it was definitely well deserved. This knife is pretty awesome. So overall, it's about a 3-inch blade. I'll do some comparisons right now actually. So here's a Delica. You know, it's a knife I'm sure everyone's familiar with if you've been in the into knives at all. Basically the same length as a Delica, maybe a tiny bit larger, blade length at least. So right around 3 inches, maybe just a tad over 3 inches. And let's see. Handle lengths pretty similar. I can get a 4-finger grip on the Delica, and I can also get a 4-finger grip on the 75. Pretty similar in that regard. Another knife that you're probably familiar with is Emerson's CQC7. So again, let's look at the blade length, which is so here the 7 is larger. Yeah, so it's not by much, maybe 1/4 of an inch, less than 1/4 of an inch. And then the handle is again probably larger by 1/4 of an inch. But on the 75, you get a similar grip pattern, and I say that because like the CQC7 handle, when you grip it, you kind of grip down on the knife. You don't usually use this particular portion for gripping. So I think you get a similar amount of fingers on the handle. Obviously, you can only get 4 fingers on it. You don't have 5 fingers to grip it. You know what I mean? And it's really comfortable. This is all black micarta, and it's contoured, so it fits the hand nicely. And it's gorgeous to look at. And this ramp here fits nicely into the palm of your hand. When you grip it, it's a very secure grip, especially with these choils for your 2 fingers. It's a very nice grip. And the knife is super sharp. Jesse, all of his knives are ridiculously sharp. This one's hollow ground and has a polished edge. There you can see his logo, Jarosz Knives. Oop, just went out of focus. Polished flats, polished spine. Let's see. You want to see the camera reflection? There you go. Tang is polished. The liners are polished on the inside, I think. And what's neat is it's a liner lock, a very thin liner. His new liners are a little bit thicker. I kind of just wanted a thinner liner lock and a different pivot. His pivots are usually, his new pivots now are easier to take down than this pivot, but I think it looks cool and I kind of wanted this. But what's cool is that there's no, the backspacer is not visible, so it's a liner lock, and most liner locks, like this 7, you can see the stop pin. But on the 75, the stop pin is actually, I think it's located like right here, and there's actually a cutout around the blade tang, and the blade tang kind of goes around the stop pin, so it kind of actually deadens the sound of the blade opening and closing. Let me get it full. I think it's kind of cool. It's unique. I haven't seen knives with it before, but maybe I'm just not looking hard enough. I'm sure they're out there. I just don't know them. Thumb studs, which are just fine. There's nothing wrong about them. they work just fine. But because the knife is the blade is so polished so well, it's such a smooth deploying knife. So smooth. It's kind of hard to describe smoothness, and you can't really, obviously you can't feel it through a camera, but it's the smoothest knife I've ever felt. I don't know, probably, imagine a Sebenza, and then better than that. Yeah, I mean, it's phenomenal. Super, super smooth. Jesse said that at G4, people were coming up to him and asking him what ball bearing system he used for his pivot, and he just had to tell him that he doesn't use one. You know, he just polishes the around the pivot so well that it's just so buttery smooth. So Jesse, a lot of his knives have this two cutout system where two fingers go on one side and two fingers go on the other. The 75 and the 100 are kind of modeled after the Scout that he designs. You can see the similarities in the blade shape and the handles. Again, like I said, they have that double cutout. Blade shapes are pretty similar. I like that drop point shape. And yeah, the handles are pretty similar. And the Scout's an awesome knife in its own right. But I think it's really cool that, I mean, you can have a Scout for, I don't know, if you want to go to the woods, or if it's your beater knife around home, and then you kind of have a folding Scout for EDC. And I think this is probably my perfect EDC. It's the right size. I don't need a large knife, so like the size of a Delica is just perfect. The fact that it's a custom knife, it's got amazing precision, super sharp. It's, I don't know, probably you could get away with using a Delica for but this knife is just so much better made, obviously, because it's a handmade knife. But I mean, Jesse really knows his stuff. He knows exactly. I mean, it's a phenomenal job. It's a phenomenal piece. And it can take abuse. I've seen people. Jesse says he spine waxes every knife before he goes out, and some of his close friends have actually used his knives very hard. I mean, I'll use this as hard as I can, but I'm not much of a hard user. It's the kind of thing where I carry it all the time and cut the small things I need to cut. It's not a big I'm not a big crazy user of knives, but I certainly appreciate them, and this is one of the finest knives I've seen. Just a regular black pocket clip. It's kind of like a miniature Benchmade clip or a miniature Emerson clip. You can see the size difference there. It's maybe half the size. But yeah, it's just a super, super smooth knife. I think Jesse's order books are still open, so I will link you in the description to his email and his YouTube videos, or his YouTube account. He also has a YouTube channel posting videos of knives he's made and stuff like that. But yeah, just a cool knife, and from a cool dude. He's actually a real good guy, a friend of mine. Let me see if I can show you this lock engaging. Super early, and I've opened it. Got to be 100 times by now, or I'm sorry, a couple hundred times by now. Probably 100 times the first day. But yeah, still super early. But it's a solid knife. Alright, I guess that's about it. If there's any questions or comments, please leave them. As always, be dressed to play and geared to slaughter. See ya.